Padmatmani Namah. Namaste devotees and Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our virtual Sunday morning satsang this beautiful December 6th, 2020. Before we commence with our puja for today, devotees, I'd like for you all to join together with me as we sing this beautiful bhajan, as we all welcome ourselves to Mandir. स्वागत समझन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। ईश सगुण निर्गुण अविनाशी, मात पिता यार। ईश सगुण निर्गुण अविनाशी, मात पिता यार। पूर्णमय हम वास्त सदाहि, पूर्णमय हम वास्त सदाहि, और हमें संसार। स्वागत सब जन हिस्सा मंदिर, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमार, रंजन सब नर नार। सनातन धर्म राम राम भावे, वेद प्रकाश अलंकार। सनातन धर्म राम राम भावे, वेद प्रकाश अलंकार। कन्न पखंड होत लगावे, कन्न पखंड होत लगावे, ज्ञान जगत उजियार। स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। वेद कुभावन दूर बघावे, आया पार प्यार। वेद कुभावन दूर बघावे, आया पार प्यार। महात्मा गांधी प्रेम विवेके, महात्मा गांधी प्रेम विवेके, विश्व रहे आधार। स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। तीर्थ भाया यहाँ गोत लगावे, पुण्य यहाँ पर सार। तीर्थ भाया यहाँ गोत लगावे, पुण्य यहाँ पर सार। संगति संतन नीम चलावे, संगति संतन नीम चलावे, शोभन सब व्यवहार। स्वागत सब जन इस मंदिर हो, भक्ति की स्वाति की धार, सुंदर सुमधुर गान हमारो, रंजन सब नर नार। रंजन सब नर नार, रंजन सब नर नार। At this time, devotees, I now ask that we all join together. Go ahead and sit in a position that is extremely comfortable. Relax your body. Clear your mind of all thoughts. And at this time, focus on a form of Bhagwan that is most pleasing to you. Clasp your hands, close your eyes, and join with me as we chant these opening prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Nishamasyam Niram Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Kirtina Bhunjeta Magruthakasya Swindhanam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahi Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Now we all join together now, devotees, as we commence chanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om Magakshe Varadini Akshare Brahmavadini Gayatri Jagat Madhar Vishwayoni Vasme Om Bhuri Bhuvasva Tatsavitura Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naham Prachodayat Om Bhuri Bhuvasva Tatsavitura Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naham Prachodayat Om Bhuri Bhuvasva Tatsavitura Bharenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naham Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Prem Gayatri Mata Ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers for this morning, devotees, we offer obediences to that destroyer and removal of all obstacles in our life. We offer praise to Lord Ganesh. Om Shri Ganapate Namaha. Om Yajananam Bhutanadi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Malacharam Om Asutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Pankajam Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurumedeva Sarvakarishu Sarvana Om Raksha Raksha Gana Raksha Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Kartha Radha Bhavaranavar Om Shriman Mahaganadipate Namaham Prem Se Bolo Ganesh Bhavane Ki Jai. As we continue on with our prayers for this morning, devotees, we offer prayers to the Universal Mother and that destroyer of all evils in our life. We offer prayers to Adi Shakti Durga Om Mahadurgai Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swudha Namostute Jai Dvam Devi Chamundi Jai Motarate Nihardini Jai Sarvagati Devi Kalaratri Namostute Ya Devi Sarvamudhishu Vishnu Maye Nishamnika Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Buddhi-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shraddha-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shanti-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Tushti-rupena samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namaya Devi sarvabhuteshu dayarupena samstita namastasye 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 namo namah devi sarvabhuteshu matrirupena samstita namastasye 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 namo namah dehi samhagyam arogyam dehi me paramam sukham rupam dehi jayam dehi yashvehi yashojami om Prem Svarvari Shakti Durga Mata ki jai. As we continue on with our prayers for today, devotees, I ask that we all join together now as we offer obediences and prayers to the most influential beings in our life. As we pray to the Navgraha Devata. Om Navgraha Devataye Namaha. Haram Mahamurari Tripurari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Suto Gunascha Guruscha Shukra Shanirahu Keto Sarve Graha Shanti Ram Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Ram Bhavantu. As we continue our prayers, devotees, may we all join together so we offer obediences to that sustainer of everything within this world that we live on, as we offer prayers to that God in the form of the sun, Surya Narayan Bhagavan. Om Suryaya Namah, 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 Suryaya Namah. Adideva Namastuvyam Prasiddha Mama Bhashkaram Devakara Namastuvyam Prabhakara Namostuti Suryaya Namah, Suryaya Namah, Suryaya Namah, Suryaya Namah. Om Prem Samanagraha Devata ki jai. Prem Samuro Surya Narayana Bhagavan ki jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, we offer prayers and salutations to that sustainer of all things dharmic, all things righteous in this universe. We offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Vishnu Namah. Om Shantakaram Mujhashayanam Bharamanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gaganam Sadrasham Meghavarnam Shubhanam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalenayanam Mokhi-bhera-dhana-gamyam Padme Vishnu Bhavamaya Haram Sarvaloke-ganatam Om Sahashankha-chakram Sakiretha-kunhalam Sapita-vasmaram Sarasirumeksham Sahara-vakshastala-shubhri-kaustubha-shriyam Namami Vishnu Shirasa-chaturabhujam Namami Vishnu Shirasa-chaturabhujam Om Prem Samana Vishnu Bhagavan ki jai. As we continue on with our prayers, devotees, I ask that we all join together now as we offer prayers to that universal Father and that universal Guru, as we offer prayers to Lord Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah bhavam bhavani sahitam namami. The beautiful thing about this specific prayer, devotees, is that if you choose not to chant it, you can always choose to sing it as well. For those of you who know the tune, please join with me as we continue our prayers to Lord Shiva. As we continue on, devotees, we offer this next prayer for those suffering from various illnesses, diseases, injuries, or ailments. We ask them have a fast, speedy, and full recovery. We also offer a prayer for those transitioning from this world to the next. May their passage be a smooth and tranquil. Om Ayambakam Yajamahi Sukandhim Pushnivardhanam Murarokamiva Bandhanat Viturmukshyo Mamrutat Om Ayambakam Yajamahi Sukandhim Pushnivardhanam Murarokamiva Bandhanat Viturmukshyo Mamrutat Om Ayambakam Yajamahi Sukandhim Pushnivardhanam Murarokamiva Bandhanat Viturmukshyo Mamrutat Om Ganganapate Namaha Om Kartikeya Namaha Om Namishwaraya Namaha Om Vasukiye Namaha Om Shri Samba Sadashivaya Namaha Prem Samla Shiva Shankara Bhagwan Ki Jai. Devotees, for those of you who have a guru, I ask that you join with me as we offer a prayer to our guru. If not, then I ask you to take Lord Shiva or Adi Shakti Durga Mata in your mind as your universal gurus, as we join together in prayer. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Prem se Guru Gurudeo Ki Jai. devotees, last week, when we were reading from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we had just started chapter 9. And at the very beginning of chapter 9, Bhagwan Shri Krishna is letting us know where he is, what he exists in. We know that Bhagwan is here, we know that Bhagwan is there, we know that Bhagwan is everywhere. But what Bhagwan Shri Krishna goes on to further tell us is that he is this unmanifest and he is the manifest. He is this material world that we live in. Everything that we live in, everything that we touch, everything that we breathe is a part of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Bhagwan Shri Krishna is here and we are a part of him, but he is not necessarily within us, because at his point and in his understanding, he is detached from the world. So for him to say that he resides with us is to say that he is attached to us. What he's trying to impart to all of us is to let us know that we should not be so attached to the physical things of this world. Rather become, in a sense, detached, but make sure that your emotions aren't connected to too many material objects, because that is what we define as creation of misery. We ended last week on verse 10 of chapter 9 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in which Bhagwan Shri Krishna imparts to Arjuna. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Shri Krishna Sharanam Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Maya Dhaksena Prakriti Suyate Sanchara Charam Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. At this point, Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, O Kaunteya, a name for Arjuna. O Arjuna, it is under my direction that the entire cosmic manifestation and all moving and non-moving beings are brought forth by Maya Shakti. For this reason, the material world is created again and again. The question here is, what is Maya? I've heard the name Maya before. Maya is a great name. But what does Maya mean? Maya, translated from Sanskrit to English, means illusion. So he says that from time and time again, beings are brought forth bring forth by Maya Shakti, by illusion. So what is this world around us, is what he's saying. What is it? It's an illusion. Everything in this world, this material world, is created again and again, but it's an illusion. It sounds like the Matrix. It sounds a little bit like the Matrix. You're living within the Matrix. So everything in this world is an illusion, is what he's saying. All the material things in this world, our emotions and everything that we derive really in this world are derived from the material objects and the things that we see, feel, touch every single day. He wants you to know that we exist in this illusion. He goes on to say further in verses 11 and 12, as he's speaking to Arjuna. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Avanjanati Mudha Manusita Masritam Param Bhavam Ajananto Mama Bhota Maheswaram Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna in verses 11 and 12, when I appear in my human-like form, foolish people with mundane intelligence disrespect me, because they cannot comprehend my nature as the supreme lord of all beings. The hopes of such foolish people for liberation, fruitful gain, and culture of jnana all go in vain. Thus, with their minds distracted, they adopt the deluded nature of atheists and asuras, demonic natures that don't believe. So when I appear in my human-like form, foolish people with mundane intelligence disrespect me. There's a lot of meaning behind this. If you look at the creation story of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, we'll start off with Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. If you look at the creation story of Bhagavan Shri Krishna, his uncle was told that he had to kill him. He said he was told that the 8th child of his sister, Devaki, and his brother-in-law, Vasudeva, would be the end of him, would be the cause of his destruction. So what did he do? What did Kunz do? He imprisoned his sister, and he killed her children one by one, without understanding who was being manifested into this material world. All he knew was that a child was being manifested, and that child would kill him. He did not recognize and fully understand the depth that it was Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And because he could not understand and comprehend that nature, he was deluded. He lost sense of what his goal was, which was to stay alive for such a long time. Now, I'm not saying that what he did was right, but because he didn't understand fully what was going on, because he didn't understand who was being born into this world, he was deluded by it. Now, the further meaning that I want to speak about when it comes to this is that when we appear in human-like form, what is within each one of us? What are we all a part of? What did Bhagavan Shri Krishna say earlier? He said that this entire cosmic manifestation, everything that is in this world is a part of him. Everything that is in this world is a part of him. So people with mundane intelligence disrespect me. Where is Bhagwan? Where is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is here. Bhagwan is there. Bhagwan is everywhere. Everything that is in this world is Bhagwan Shri Krishna. Everything in this world is Bhagwan. So human-like form. Even though sometimes in this relationship he's talking about Bhagwan Shri Krishna or Lord Rama or Parshurama or Narasim, his various incarnations, every single being in this world is a part of Bhagwan Shri Krishna. So people with mundane intelligence will continue to disrespect that human form. How often is it that we see that we disrespect other people in our lives? Now, I'm not necessarily talking about parents disrespecting children and children disrespecting parents, but I'm talking about how we disrespect other people who live along beside us, who struggle the same way we struggle, who strive the same way we strive, and who indulge in happiness in the same way we indulge in happiness. Why do we choose to disrespect those people, knowing who they are, knowing what they're a part of? If we continue to live such foolish lives, our hopes for liberation, for gain, for jnana, which is truth, everything goes in vain. So next time you decide to cast judgment upon somebody, the next time you decide to disrespect somebody, understand that you are adopting a demonic nature. When was the last time you ever heard somebody call you a demon? It's not a very pretty thing to hear. So understand that by disrespecting other people, by disrespecting those people and these items and these living beings in this world that are a part of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, you are also disrespecting, in a sense, Bhagwan Shri Krishna. And with that, you are becoming a demon. He goes on to say further in verses 13, 14, and 15 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Mahatma Nastu Mambarita, Daivim Pratri Sarita, Bhajanta Nanyamana Satatam kirtayan tomam yatantas Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on to say that, O Partha, O Arjuna, the Mahatmas, those with great souls, having taken shelter of my divine nature, know me to be the original and imperishable cause of all beings. They constantly engage in my bhajana, with their minds fixed exclusively on me, constantly chanting the glories of my names, qualities, forms, and pastimes, endeavoring with determined vows and offering pranamas with devotion. They engage in my worship, remaining always united with me. Among those who engage in yajna by the cultivation of knowledge, some worship me with the knowledge of oneness, some with the knowledge of duality, some through the forms of various devotees, and some worship me as the universal form. So what Bhagavan Shri Krishna is stating here, and what he wants everybody to recognize, is the same thing that he's been reiterating for the past few verses. Those who have great souls know me to be the original and imperishable cause of all beings. They constantly engage in my bhajana, with their minds fixed exclusively on me. Earlier, we talked about what you need to do to achieve salvation. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna said that all you have to do is know of the two paths in the world. You have to know the dark path, which is if you die in a bad time, you may not achieve salvation. And if you die in a good time, you achieve salvation. But if you understand those two paths, you'll still achieve salvation. Again, he's giving you pieces to a puzzle. He's giving you a guideline. All these steps. So the question here becomes, and this is a question that is posed later in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and it's posed earlier as well, if somebody commits heinous acts their entire lives, and at the very end of their life, before they pass away, they say, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Does that mean that they're attaining salvation? Does that mean that they will not be reborn again in this world? And the answer is no. The answer is no. Just because at that one point in time you have your mind fixed on those words does not mean that you have had your mind fixed exclusively on the Lord. Remember, the things that you think about towards the end of your life are the things that you will attain once you leave this physical world. So if all you can think about is money, wealth, and riches, then your probability of being reborn again as somebody who just seeks money, wealth, and riches is great. Now, does that mean you're going to be born as a great businessman? Somebody who's born into power, who can attain money very easily? No, you could be born as somebody in a sense that needs to attain money, but does it in all the wrong ways, who may not live a happy and fruitful life. For those who constantly chant the glories of my names, qualities, forms, and pastimes, endeavoring with my determined vows and offering my pranamas with devotion, they engage in my worship, remaining always united with me. How do you become good at something? Verse 14 is kind of saying this. How do you become good at something? To become a good musician, can you just pick up an instrument and play it and be professional at it? You have to take your time to understand it. Understand music in all of its forms. You have to endeavor with it with determining vows. You have to engage in its practice, and you remain always united with it. The people who we call principal chairs, that's if you're thinking about something like the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. You have your principal chair, which is the first chair, the person who is the best of the best. Those people, if you ever watch them practice, play, they dedicate their lives to that music, to that violin, to that flute, to whatever instrument that they're using. They practice day in and day out. They understand the theory of how that instrument works. They understand the theory of the music. They understand what the music means. And because of that united feeling with that music, they attain great results. That can be said about anything that you do in life. And I'm not just talking about music. For students who are in school right now, all of you have your finals coming up in the next, week or two, right, dear? Finals? In order... Next week. Okay. So at least in Cobb County, we know it's next week. Week after. In order for you to attain a good result or a good grade on your final, what do you have to do? Dedicate yourself to your studies. Dedicate yourself to the topic. Dedicate yourself to understanding what the principles behind what you're doing is. That way you will succeed. Same thing if you're trying to pass your class. Dedicate yourself to doing the work. Do the work with a full understanding. Turn that work in to the best of your ability. Among those who engage in yajna by cultivation of knowledge, again, we talk about this thing, knowing these things. Some worship me with the knowledge of oneness, some with the knowledge of duality, some through the forms of various devatas, and some worship me as the universal form. So he says that some worship me in different ways. People worship me in different ways. People worship me in different ways. Again, going back to your own life, if you want to attain something, do you have to do it the same exact way the other person did it? Do we all study the same way? Do we all learn the same way? Do we all receive energy the same way? When Serena and I were dating, we talked about something called your love languages. And your love languages speak to how you treat other people, but how you also want to be treated. It could be things like conversation, quality time. It could be acts of service. And so when we try to understand people and their emotions, it's also important for us to understand that we can't treat everybody the same way, because everybody has a different nature to them. So you can worship Bhagwan in any form, just like you can perform something any way you want in life. If you choose to show somebody love and affection, maybe quality time is not necessarily what they need, but some sort of act of service. Maybe an act of service isn't what they need. Maybe they need quality time. If you need to achieve something, you achieve it in the way that you find best to you. But it's got to be in an honorable, and it's got to be in a very ethical way. Ethical is very important. So, again, taking this into our own lives, attain something in the best of your abilities. You don't have to do it as the person next to you the same way. Do it in a way that makes it comfortable for you, but in an ethical way. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying here, some people worship me in one way. Some people worship me in another way. If they're worshiping me, if they're providing obediences to me, they will attain me. And this is something very important that I want to pass on to you. Something very important. If somebody worships a different way than you, are they wrong? I'm not going to answer this question. It's a hypothetical question. If somebody worships differently than you, are they wrong? Are they wrong? I want you to consider the facts of what that person's thinking about, what they're devoted to, how they're doing it. And then I will ask you, and you ask yourselves again, if somebody practices religion different than I do, are they wrong? Continuing on, Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on further to tell Arjuna in verses 16 through 19 of chapter 9 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Aham Prapur, Aham Yajna, Swadhaham Aham Surham, Mantroham Aham Yajyam, Aham Agnir, Aham Bhutam, Pitaham Asya Jagato, Matanata Pitahamaha, Vidyam Pavitram Uttara, Raksamaya Jurevacha, Rathiram Pratam Prabhu Sapsi, Nivasa Saranam Suru, Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam, Nidhanam Nijapayayam, Tapamyaham Aham Varasam, Ningranam Sirajamicha, Om Tam Shiva Mrituscha, Sada Asatchaham Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on further to tell Arjuna, O Arjuna, I am the Vedic rituals, such as Agni Stoma and Smarata Yajnas, such as Vaiswadeva, and I am Shraddha, the oblation to the forefathers. I am the potency of the healing herb, the mantra, the ghee, the fire, and I am Homa or Yajna. I am the mother, the father, the maintainer, and the grandsire of the universe. I am the object of knowledge and the purifier. I am the syllable Om, and I am the Ag, Yajur, and Samavedas. I am destiny in the form of the fruit of karma, the sustainer, the lord, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the dearest well-wishing friend. I am the creation, the dissolution, the basis, the resting place, and the eternal seed. I give here and withhold the release, the rain. I am immortality, and I am death personified. I am the cause of everything, and also the effect. Spirit and matter are both in me. So, to further prove a point, he says that those Mahatmas understand that they have taken shelter in my divine nature and know me to be the original imperishable cause of all things. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says that he is everything in this universe in verses 16 through 19. When you're performing Hawan, what are some of the key components for Hawan? You need your Hawan Kund, you need a fire, you need samagri, you need ghee. As you offer that samagri, you are performing a sacrifice. You are offering fully. He says in these cases, I am the mantras that you chant. If you think about just Hawan, I am the mantras that you chant. I am the ghee that you offer. To the fire, I am also that. I am also that homa or yajna. I'm that sacrifice. I'm the thing that you're putting into the fire. I am everything around you. I'm everything around you. Taking this to a little bit of an extreme point. If you think about everything in this world being Bhagwan, would you treat your phone with disrespect? Would you leave it without a case, let it get dirty, break the screen? Would you treat your car with disrespect? Your clothes, your material possessions? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. But if we think about everything in this world as being a part of Bhagwan, being a part of God, I think in our minds we may try to cherish it a little bit more. Treat it a little bit differently. When it comes to the things that we have in this world, the people that are in this world, I want you to understand that we're all put onto this world with the same happiness, the same angers, and the same struggles. But in that sense, not everything in this world is equal. One of the things that I can try to impress upon you is that hunger exists in this world. And we all suffer from hunger at various points in times. But do we all suffer in the same exact way? Do we all suffer in the same exact way? The answer is no. The answer is no. And an hour from now, I can tell you I'm going to be hungry. And I'll suffer from being hungry. But what can I do? What can I do? I can walk into my fridge and pull out the salad that we have, and I can eat that for lunch. And thus, my strife, my struggle, is easily attained. But not everybody has that same luxury. We talk about this for kids in school sometimes. When we were working on our MBA course, we talked about what incentives or what things they do in schools to help children want to come back, to assist them to make them feel happy. And we talked about the value of a pizza party for children in school. The value of a pizza party. What does the pizza party do? It does a number of things, but two things that come out very importantly is one, it incentivizes with positive reinforcement to the children that you did good, so you're going to receive good. But what does it also do? For those kids who have nothing at home, whose parents and whose families don't have enough to afford a meal every single day, what are you providing for that child? Sustenance, nourishment, a full belly with warm food, happiness. My dad would always say this, no matter what happened in this world, his mother and his father always made sure that there was a warm plate of food on the table for them to eat every night. They struggled in a different way. So everything in this world exists because it's a part of Bhagwan. And everything in this world is going to have something that causes it to struggle. It is up to us as a human race, as people, as living beings, to try to alleviate that struggle. To make sure that, and I know it sounds weird to say it this way, but to make sure that we all struggle in the same way. Think about that hunger scenario. My hunger struggle struggle is not going to be the same as that of a person who's homeless. It is up to us to care for one another, to sustain one another, and to make sure that we understand that Bhagwan is here, Bhagwan is there, Bhagwan is everywhere. So we treat this world with respect as we would treat God with respect. We end with this final verse, verse 20 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in chapter 9, in which Bhagwan Shri Krishna is telling Arjuna, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, 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 Traividyamam Soma Paputam Pavachna Saristu Saragatim Pratarayante Te Punyamasada Surinvalokam Asnatim Divyanti Videvamam Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Bhagavan Shri Krishna goes on to tell Arjuna, those who are devoted to fruitive activity, as described in the three Vedas, worship me by performing. They worship me by performing what we will discuss next week during our virtual Sunday morning satsang. Prem se Bolo Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Devotees, at this time, I'm going to pan away just for a quick second while we have one last bhajan, and then we'll move on to our closing prayers. Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukhi Om Dukhanur Hare, Jai 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 Krishna Hare, Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukhi Om Dukhanur Hare, Jai 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 Krishna जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा की दूर किनारा हो, जब चारों तरफ अंधियारा हो, आशा का दूर किनारा हो, और कोई न के अनहारा हो, Hare Devotees, at this time I ask that we all join together. Sit in a very comfortable position and relax your body. Nice that at this time you take a deep breath in and exhale, and as you exhale, straighten your spine, drop your shoulders, relax your forehead. Clasp your hand and close your eyes. Focus all your mind and all of your energy on a form of Bhagwan that is most pleasing to you. And join with me as we chant our prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschita Dukha Bhavet Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yetya Pujitam Maya Deva Paripuram Tarastu Me Papuham Papu Karmaham Papu Atma Papu Sambhava Trahimam Mudari Kaksham Sarva Papu Haru Hari Om Tvameva Matascha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityuma Mritam Yamaya Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Yau Shanti Antariksham Om Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Aushadhiya Shanti Vanaspati Shanti Vishwadeva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarve Gom Shanti Shanti Deva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhi Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwan ki Jai Prem se bolo Adi Shakti Durga Mata ki Jai Prem se bolo Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai Prem se bolo Shiva Shankar Bhagwan ki Jai Prem se bolo Shiva Shakti Mandir ki Jai Prem se bolo Sanatana Dharma ki Jai. Devotees, with this we have come to the end of our Sunday morning satsang, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here today. I would like to just send out a quick reminder. We spoke about this last week, and I want to make sure that everybody's being very, very cautious of this. Right now, this country is still suffering from a very serious pandemic and a very serious illness that is rapidly spreading and still rapidly growing across the United States. That disease is known as COVID-19. For those of you who have never actually seen a COVID-19 patient, I want you to think of somebody who was in perfectly healthy condition one day and then the next day is lying face down in a bed with tubes going in and out of their arms, through their nose, in their throat, down into their lungs. Someone who's barely allowed to move because the moment they do, they'll be in severe distress. Somebody who can't breathe, who can't think, who's running a fever of over 100 degrees. I want you to think of somebody who was helpless at this point in time and how much that they are suffering. All of chapter 9 talked about reducing suffering in the world, making sure that we see everything as equal and trying to work together to maintain a better and greater good. And with that being said, devotees, I ask that even though the holiday season is approaching and we're very, very tempted to want to join together and get together, for those of you who are asymptomatic, who have been around too many people, who have been around in the public, please, please, remain cautious, be vigilant, wear your mask, continue to sanitize. And I ask that as we get into this next year, this upcoming new year, that we continue to remain cautious. For now and until further, we will keep the mandir closed and we will continue to do virtual services for the safety of our organization, for the safety of our members, and for the safety of the public. As the new vaccine comes around, I also ask that as these vaccines come around, keep in mind a lot of them are 2-dose vaccines that have to be given within 4 weeks of each other. That not only do you rely on your healthcare providers to provide you that vaccine, but you're also tracking it yourself. Remember, at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own actions as well. So remember to stay safe, stay vigilant, and be happy out there. Be cautious, wear your mask, and do everything that we can to curb the flow and the growth of this disease so that we can all live happily and healthily together in the future. Our trips, our plans, everything will still be there at some point in time. We just don't need to do it now. We can wait a little bit. With that being said, I want to switch over to a little bit of a lighter note and a little bit of a happier note. We did have a few birthdays within our Mandir this week, so we want to wish birthdays to Natasha Sahid, Sister Tiffany Mungru, and we also want to wish birthdays to my cousin, Jasmine Mangre. To all of you, very, very happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful birthday, wonderful week, wonderful weekend. And I hope that you continue to celebrate. For those of you who are also celebrating your birthdays, we want to wish you a happy birthday as well. For those of you who have celebrated anniversaries this week or any other special occasions, special events, we want to say congratulations to you all as well. With that being said, devotees, we will continue our regular Sunday morning satsangs all through September. It's not even September. See, I can't think. All through December. Time is flowing weird. Christmas this year, I believe, is on a Thursday and a Friday. Christmas Eve is a Thursday and a Friday. So we'll still have our Sunday morning service on that Sunday as well. Everything will continue on as scheduled. If there's any cancellations or any of the Sunday services that we won't be doing, we'll make sure to send you an email ahead of time. But as far as I am aware, we will be continuing our Sunday morning services throughout until the new year. So with that being said, devotees, I hope you all have a safe, wonderful, happy, and healthy week. Stay safe. Check on one another, text one another, FaceTime one another, make each other smile, and we'll see you all again here next Sunday for our regular Sunday morning satsang. Jai Sita Ram.